The scent of oud and jasmine, rich and heavy, clung to the air of the marble palace atrium, a fragrance meant to soothe, yet for Zara, it pressed a subtle weight upon her chest. Gleaming surfaces of onyx and gold reflected the pre-dawn glow, echoing the silent, opulent vastness around her. She moved with a quiet efficiency, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns on a crystal coffee service, each touch a familiar choreography. 4 months had sculpted her into a phantom of the Grand Sheikh Khalid Al Faris residence, a humble presence within a world of extravagant design. Here, every artifact spoke of inherited wealth, every gilded archway whispered tales of ancient lineage, and Zara, in her simple, elegant designer kaftan, felt the stark chasm between her own quiet life and the blinding brilliance that surrounded her. A tremor of unease, cold and sharp, pierced the calm. 8 o'clock. A distant murmur, then the unmistakable hum of approaching engines growing in intensity. 5 luxury vehicles, sleek and dark, glided through the ornate gates. She knew, with a certainty that settled deep in her bones, that this was the day of reckoning. This would be no ordinary morning. From the glass sky lounge above, Sheikh Khalid, a figure of imposing presence even at a distance, gestured towards his 8-year-old son, Amir. The boy, small and often lost in a quiet sorrow that mirrored Zara's own, stood beside him. Khalid's voice, though a muted echo, carried the weight of expectation. 5 elegant women, he explained, chosen from families of immense standing, would soon arrive. They were here for 30 days, candidates in a silent, grand competition, each vying to become Amir's new mother. He spoke of education, of experiences, of a world Amir would come to know. Amir's hesitant posture, the slight slump of his shoulders, resonated deeply within Zara. She understood the forced smiles, the politeness that masked an inner world far too vast and complex for the gilded cage of expectation. A sudden, jarring crash sliced through the calculated calm of the atrium, followed by a woman's sharp, furious cry. The sound ripped through the quiet luxury, shattering the illusion of peace, marking the abrupt, unwelcome arrival of a new, unsettling chapter. "Why are you sitting here all by yourself, my dear?" Khalid and Amir burst into the marble palace atrium, a tableau of broken beauty greeting them. Layla knelt amidst the glittering shards of a shattered handcrafted marble vase, a crimson bead welling on her finger. Towering over her, Zara bint Abbas, sharp and assertive, berated Layla, her voice cutting through the opulent space, emphasizing the vase's immense value. Layla, her voice barely a whisper, tearfully insisted it was an accident. Zahra scoffed, a cruel glint in her eyes, declaring that individuals of Layla's station had no business touching such precious items. Khalid stepped forward, his presence commanding, and Zara, with a sudden false smile, introduced herself, swiftly placing blame on Layla. Just then, Mariam, Rania, Noura, and Reem, the other 4 elite women, swept in, their gazes cool and disdainful as they observed the scene. Mariam offered a cutting remark about the situation, while Rania asserted with conviction that such clumsiness was only characteristic of the unrefined. However, Amir, oblivious to the simmering social tensions, bypassed his father entirely, rushing directly to Layla, his small face etched with genuine concern for her bleeding hand. Amidst the grandeur of the marble palace, where destiny often seemed dictated by lineage and appearance, the quiet strength of a young woman's spirit was about to face its most formidable test, an early trial echoing a future triumph. A small whimper broke the morning's calculated calm, and Layla, her own eyes brimming with unshed tears, swiftly knelt beside Amir. His small hand, scraped and bleeding, trembled in hers, but her voice remained soft, a soothing balm reassuring him it was merely a scratch, nothing more. Their shared moment, a tender intimacy unburdened by rank, did not escape the sharp gaze of Zara bint Abbas, who watched from a respectful distance, a question of their closeness forming silently in her mind. Just then, Sheikh Khalid entered the opulent atrium, his imposing presence commanding instant attention. He sensed the unspoken tension, the fragile threads of decorum stretched taut, and moved to address the assembly. With a practiced gesture, he introduced Layla, her name delivered with a subtle hesitancy, as their household assistant. Then, turning to the 5 elegant women gathered, Zahra bint Abbas, Mariam al-Jufali, Rania bint Said, Noura Hamad, and Reem Abdullah. He presented them as the esteemed candidates for a role of immense importance. Each woman, radiant in her finest attire, then stepped forward, her voice a confident declaration of illustrious lineage and impeccable background, their words painting a vivid portrait of generations of wealth and influence. Throughout these meticulous introductions, Layla stood almost invisible, clutching a blood-stained cloth to Amir's hand, her presence beside the boy an inconvenient truth ignored by the poised women. Khalid, his gaze briefly meeting Layla's with an unreadable flicker, explained the purpose of their gathering, a 30-day trial period, after which Amir would choose his new mother. The gravity of his words settled like a heavy cloak over the hushed atrium. Zara, ever the scrutinizing one, raised an eyebrow, her question about Layla's continued presence hanging in the air. Khalid's response was firm, his affirmation quiet but unwavering. Mariam and Rania exchanged knowing glances, a silent agreement passing between them, their subtle remarks implying that Layla ought to understand her subordinate place within these hallowed walls. A brief, almost imperceptible frown creased Khalid's brow, but Rania, quick to deflect, smoothly glossed over their condescension. Amir, however, remained oblivious to the undercurrents of adult politics. His small hand found Layla's, a gesture of pure, unthinking affection, as he tugged gently, asking her to see his latest drawing. Before Layla could respond, Noura interjected, her voice sharp with dismissal, insisting Layla immediately attend to the spilled mess, a pointed reminder of her duties. Despite the discomfort of her own injury, Layla nodded, a quiet dignity in her agreement. As she moved to obey, Zara's eyes, narrowed with an almost predatory focus, tracked the enduring, undeniable bond between the boy and the humble assistant, a connection that defied all social constructs and promised to unravel far more than just a pristine floor. The true contest, it became clear, would not be for Khalid's approval, but for the unwavering heart of a child. This tapestry of authentic devotion, woven from shared laughter and quiet understanding, now extended its silken threads beyond the palace walls, subtly re-etching the very social fabric of a city, once rigid with expectation. The Sheikh, no longer bound by inherited protocol, moved with a newfound lightness, his gaze reflecting a depth of gratitude that had supplanted the weary burden of a lonely crown. He found in her presence a profound solace, a quiet strength that anchored his world, turning every shared moment, from morning tea on the terrace to whispered conversations beneath a sky ablaze with stars, into a testament to their unwavering bond. His hand often sought hers, not as a public display, but as an unspoken reaffirmation of the truth they had built together. This tangible tenderness contrasted sharply with the empty pleasantries and calculated smiles that had once filled these halls, a stark reminder of the superficiality they had overcome. Her days, once spent in quiet service, now unfolded with a purpose far grander, nurturing a sanctuary where genuine affection bloomed unrestricted. She infused every corner of their opulent home with a warmth that transcended gilded surfaces, turning vast chambers into intimate spaces alive with the scent of fresh pastries and the soft murmur of family. Her touch transformed the grand mansion, previously a stage for society's drama, into a haven of peace, a living rebuttal to the cold ambition that had once sought to claim its heart. The true measure of wealth, she realized, lay not in the glittering array of jewels or the vastness of their estate, but in the boundless love that filled each day, a love that had once seemed an impossible dream. Amir, no longer a child lost in a world of silent expectations, blossomed under this authentic light. His questions, once hesitant, now flowed with unbridled curiosity, his eyes reflecting the world with a clarity Layla had helped him rediscover. He would often bring her his latest origami creations, intricate birds and delicate flowers, each fold a symbol of the patience and kindness he had absorbed. Helena, her tiny hands reaching for these paper wonders, giggled with a joy that was infectious, her innocent exuberance a constant source of wonder. These simple gestures, born of unadulterated affection, formed the bedrock of their collective happiness, a stark contrast to the performative politeness that had veiled the true nature of human connection in the past. The city, accustomed to observing from a distance, began to sense a profound shift, The narrative of their union, once whispered with judgment, evolved into a quiet admiration for a love that defied the very traditions it seemed to challenge. Layla's humble elegance, once dismissed as a mark of her lesser status, now shone as an intrinsic quality, a quiet strength resonating with an authenticity that commanded a different kind of respect. The superficiality of societal games, the intricate dance of alliances and displays of power, now seemed hollow against the backdrop of their genuine, deeply rooted bond. Their story, etched not in stone but in the hearts of a family, served as a living testament to the truth that emerged when pretense gave way to genuine feeling. A new chapter unfolded, not of overt challenges, but of the subtle, yet profound, enduring power of a choice made from the heart, slowly reshaping the very definition of legacy within their world. The whispers of admiration, once a gentle breeze, now stirred the stagnant air of the city's most exclusive enclaves, rustling through gilded chambers where power had long been measured by lineage and advantage. This quiet revolution, born of a sheikh's unexpected devotion and a humble woman's grace, was not mere conversation. It was a tremor, unsettling the foundations of certain influential families. For those whose empires relied on traditions now challenged, this union was an inconvenient anomaly, a crack in their facade. The shift in public sentiment, the rising respect for a bond that defied unwritten rules, smoldered like an ember in the hearts of the disgruntled, particularly in the opulent, increasingly tense Al-Mansur household. Within their sprawling estate, draped in faded grandeur and the scent of old money, preparations were underway not for celebration, but for strategy. Lady Safia Al-Mansur, her features sharpened by years of navigating social mazes, observed her daughter Zara with an unnerving, critical gaze. Zara, striking and ambitious, had once been a prime candidate, impeccable lineage, formidable standing. Her failure to capture the Sheikh's attention, compounded by scandal among other hopefuls, left a bitter stain on the family's prestige that Safia found intolerable. That Layla, of no discernible background beyond her own dignity, could rise to such reverence was an affront to everything Safia believed about status and power. The city's enchantment with the Sheikh's new family felt personal, a public declaration that their values were obsolete, their influence waning. This subtle redefinition of legacy, heart over heritage, threatened to unravel their world. Safia believed in structure, in order, in the immutable laws that had long benefited her line. The Sheikh's choice, choosing authenticity, was an insidious poison eroding their bedrock. She watched Zara's face, composed yet tense, and saw their shared stubbornness. They would not stand idle as the world shifted. Initial shock had given way to simmering resolve. This triumph of love had gone on long enough. They understood perception, the delicate balance of influence, and how easily an image could be tarnished. The public's admiration, they reasoned, was fragile, swayed by well-placed doubts. A meticulous plan took shape, a web of manipulations and strategic whispers meant to undermine the Sheikh's happiness and reassert unchallengeable authority. Their aim was not merely to discredit Layla, but to unravel the respect enveloping the Sheikh's family. They would remind the city where true power lay, that some traditions, however challenged, endured. Speaking in veiled terms, voices low, they wove suspicion and doubt, probing the vulnerable threads of opinion. The palace's harmony, they believed, was a temporary illusion, easily fractured by the right pressure or revelation. The joy that filled the Sheikh's home was a challenge they would not ignore. The game, they knew, was far from over, and they would play it with the precision only years of entrenched power could buy. They saw not a love story, but an opportunity. In his study, Khalid struggled to concentrate, disturbed by the candidate's callous treatment of Layla. Though accustomed to the rich, their condescension was excessive. He couldn't deny Layla's profound positive impact on Amir. In the 4 months since her arrival, his son had transformed from a withdrawn, sad child to a joyful, playful one. A knock on the door broke his thoughts. Amir, in his thobe, entered, proudly displaying a perfectly folded origami falcon Layla had taught him to make. Khalid praised Layla's patience and teaching methods. He explained that the others changed when Khalid was around, but Layla was always the same. The profound harmony that now filled their gilded halls, the shared laughter, the quiet understanding, had not been woven without hardship. Even steadfast foundations are often laid on shifting sands, demanding fortitude and conviction through tests. Before the world acknowledged the quiet strength of their union, before the city learned the wisdom of their bond, there were days when the air in the marble palace felt thick with unspoken anxieties, especially for a sensitive young heart learning the fragile nature of belonging amid bewildering opulence. One such dawn, Amir, his small frame trembling, found the courage to seek Khalid. In a whisper of deepest fear, he asked if Layla would be sent away, if the gentle presence that had softened his solitude could be taken from him. Khalid, seeing his son's vulnerability, felt a surge of protectiveness. He offered a solemn, unconditional vow. Layla's presence was now part of the house's foundations, an indelible part of their home. Relief washed over the boy's tear-streaked face, settling him into fragile calm. Alone later in his vast, ornate chambers, Khalid's thoughts lingered on Amir's distress, sparking a renewed resolve to scrutinize the household's hidden currents with sharper vigilance. He understood that the peace of night could dissolve into subtle, potent challenges by day, especially for those most vulnerable in his care. The next morning brought a palpable shift, a silent omen. As Layla descended to begin her duties, she found an expectant, menacing tension. In the marble palace atrium, beneath soaring carved arches and glimmering chandeliers, 5 figures stood in near ceremonial silence, their composed faces betraying nothing, their gazes fixed on her with chilling intensity. Mariam, with calculated casualness, let a cascade of fine sugar spill across the polished floor, a deliberate act of disrespect. With a feigned sigh and an affected air of polite exasperation, she mispronounced Layla's name and demanded immediate, thorough cleanup, a task meant to demean. Before Layla could finish the first meticulous sweep, a sharp clatter broke the air. Noura, with a pointedly deliberate gesture, overturned a decorative potted plant. Dark soil scattered across a recently cleaned, exquisitely woven silk rug, its intricate patterns marred. This purposeful sabotage forced Layla to abandon her progress, to stoop and kneel again and begin anew. Each renewed effort under their unyielding eyes underscored her humble place within the palace's cruel hierarchy, a quiet testament to the resilience and unyielding spirit demanded of her nascent life within those gilded, unforgiving walls. A sudden burst of energy cut the cultivated quiet as Amir, small and defiant, bounded down the grand staircase, eyes wide with concern. His bright greeting to Layla briefly lifted the engineered chill that hung in the marble palace atrium. He stopped at the dark smudge of soil on a polished silk rug, and understanding crossed his too perceptive face. Before Layla could explain, Zara, quick to control the narrative, waved it off, her voice smooth as stone, calling it a minor mishap Layla was fixing. Amir's clear voice, softened by childhood yet unyielding, cut through the practiced condescension. "No, that's not right," he said to Noura, reaching for Layla's arm. "I saw you push the plant over on purpose." A brittle silence fell, as the 5 women exchanged uneasy glances, their composure fracturing under the child's blunt truth. Mariam recovered with a forced smile and saccharine tone. "Amir, Habibi, you must have seen wrong. Perhaps the light played tricks on your eyes." The boy only shook his head. "I didn't see wrong. You are all being mean to Layla." His words, free of malice, struck at the heart of their calculated cruelty. Zara knelt to meet him, her smile practiced, her eyes cold. In measured tones, she explained that children couldn't grasp complex matters, insisting on order and the household's rigidly drawn boundaries. Rania, with legal precision, argued that assistants handled chores and only educated people of proper standing had the qualifications and empathy to care for him, painting a society of fixed roles. Amir, unswayed by social constructs, replied, "But Layla cares for me well. She makes me laugh, and she teaches me things the others don't." Noura then gave her clinical verdict, asserting Layla lacked the preparation and refined background required to guide a child of his standing, stressing the need for socially compatible mentorship. Layla, who had stopped working, felt her shoulders slump under their relentless disparagement. She met Amir's gaze. Between them passed a mix of sorrow and gratitude, a silent understanding. Zara's tone tightened, steel beneath composure, drawing the crucial line between servant and family, a boundary meant to silence dissent and remind Layla of her place. The implication was clear. Kindness did not erase her inferiority. The boy, protective loyalty swelling in his small chest, looked at the circle of opulent women, their faces masks of feigned concern and thinly veiled anger. His voice, innocent yet powerful, cut through the atrium. "I like Layla more than you." The declaration hung, raw and undeniable. The 5 candidates' practiced smiles crumbled into tight, indignant lines, revealing shadows beneath gilded exteriors and a sudden, furious gleam in their eyes. It was a truth no wealth or maneuvering could hide. A child's heart knows who is real. The confrontation, raw and unexpected, shattered the fragile peace and propelled the test into a more overt, charged stage. The sudden, profound quiet that descended was heavier than shattered porcelain, pressing the atrium with undeniable truth. Each candidate, stripped of polite concern, stood exposed, affronted pride and barely contained rage. The thin smiles had gone, replaced by taut lines around their eyes. The delicate dance of veiled intentions ended, revealing raw ambition. For Layla, the child's fierce loyalty soothed the sting of their disparagement, a silent affirmation that resonated in her quiet strength. She saw not just a boy defending her, but a pure heart recognizing deceit, innocence piercing the adult world's elaborate masks. A shiver of renewed resolve traced her spine. The weight of their contempt, once subtle, solidified into a challenge that reshaped the air. The marble palace, once a stage for pretense, thrummed with exposed emotion, an energy crackling around the unmasked contenders. Their cultivated composure, honed through social artifice, had fractured, revealing entitlement and simmering fury. Mariam's forced smile became a grimace of anger. Zara's usually serene eyes flashed indignation. Rania's legal precision deserted her, leaving tight-lipped silence. Her arguments were undone by a child's honesty. Noura's clinical calm crumbled into shaken disbelief, her posture rigid with shock. The subtle barbs and condescension they had woven around Layla were unraveled by the innocent, devastatingly accurate pronouncement of a child. Their collective anger became a suffocating force, a blanket of animosity threatening to snuff the last grace from the grand hall. They had underestimated the power of an uncorrupted spirit, the intuitive insight of a boy whose affection was not bought by status. Layla met their gazes with newfound clarity. Sorrow and resignation gave way to unwavering strength and subtle defiance. Amir's spontaneous defense, an act of pure love, validated her worth and drew a luminous line in the gilded sand of the atrium. She was no longer merely enduring scorn. She was a woman defended, cherished by the child they sought to control. Their public malice, ignited by Amir's outburst, tore away any pretense of a fair evaluation, exposing the test as a cruel game of power. The subtle torment became an overt, emotionally charged conflict, promising a less subtle struggle ahead. The whispers through the city's opulent circles would carry not only disdain for Layla, but the undeniable truth of their character, revealed by a child's pure voice. This revelation recast their unconventional union, turning a private struggle into a public spectacle of moral reckoning. The harmony they cultivated at home, while intact, now faced external dissonance, a fierce clash of values that would test its foundations. The superficiality of social games felt hollow against genuine affection. The battle for the Sheikh's heart, and for Amir's future, had begun, its parameters irrevocably altered by a brave, small voice, pulling them into a challenging new chapter that would ripple across the city. A profound tremor began, not in the distant city, but within the marble palace itself, cracking its veneer of decorum. Sheikh Khalid, watching from above, saw his son Amir emerge, eyes intense as he approached Layla and questioned the commotion. Layla murmured a plea, trying to pass it off as a mishap, her voice thin with unshed tears. Amir's clear gaze swept the women, each a statue of contrived indifference, before he cut through the fragile calm. This was no accident, but a deliberate repeat of their cruelty. Noura's practiced surprise flickered for a moment. Amir, though young, spoke with weight, accusing them of a steady, subtle brutality toward Layla. The air tightened as Zara stepped forward, imposing, her words a veiled demand for loyalty. She warned Amir that defending Layla would force him to choose. Amir answered at once. He chose Layla, his conviction a small beacon. Mariam, cool and composed, spat that he was profoundly mistaken. The cold dismissal from kin proved too much. Amir's eyes filled. A tear ran down his cheek, then another, his silent sobs rupturing the palace's calm. Layla moved to embrace him, but Rania barred her, voice sharp and unsympathetic, insisting he be allowed to cry, as if pain were lesson. At that moment, Khalid was seized by a furious tremor. The sight of his son's tears and the open cruelty ignited a rage he could no longer keep quiet. He strode down the grand staircase, voice thunderous, demanding explanations through the atrium. The 5 women snapped into performance, faces shifting into concerned innocence. Zara advanced with a smile that never reached her eyes and spun a tale of a terrible commotion, accusing Amir of instigating and falsely claiming they had been maligned. Khalid's gaze cut from his weeping son to Layla, head bowed and vulnerable. He reached for Amir. The boy rushed to his side, burying his face against his father. Choked with sobs, Amir began to recount their relentless malice, small cruelties, calculated undermining, a litany that cut through the women's web of deceit. Each word felt like glass, stripping the last polite pretense. The grand hall, once a stage for veiled intentions, became an arena of exposed emotion where a child's tears outweighed any crafted lie. Silence settled heavy. Khalid's controlled fury softened into paternal love and hardened into a dangerous resolve. He understood, with chilling clarity, that this was a turning point, a declaration of war on the quiet harmony he had long maintained. The palace's fragile peace lay shattered, raw truths exposed by a child's honesty. The women, mingling indignation and forced deference, stood frozen as their carefully ordered world trembled, threatened by a young boy's loyalty and the Sheikh's burgeoning fury. The tempest, though yet unseen by most, had already begun to brew within the Sheikh's private chambers, its silent currents churning with a fierce resolve. Khalid, far from the public eye, held within his grasp a truth more potent than any social decree, a truth meticulously gathered from the omnipresent gaze of his hidden cameras. Their denials, however smoothly delivered, resonated as hollow echoes against the irrefutable evidence stored in his digital archives. Each staged stumble, every fabricated oversight, all the veiled insults aimed at Layla, had been meticulously catalogued, transforming mere suspicion into an unassailable certainty of their insidious intentions. He knew with absolute clarity that they were steeped in deceit, their every move a calculated effort to undermine and discard the one person who brought genuine light into his son's life. The following morning, an air of forced calm settled over the marble palace as Khalid summoned the candidates for a discussion that masqueraded as routine. His voice, measured and firm, cut through the tension, stressing the foundational principle that all household staff must be treated with unwavering respect, regardless of their position. Zara, ever the picture of sweet compliance, readily agreed, her smile an unsettling mask of false sincerity. Khalid, his gaze unwavering, subtly affirmed Layla's essential role in nurturing the harmony of their home. But Noura, quick to seize an opening, accused Layla of meddling in Amir's education, labeling it as distinctly not her function, a subtle dig at Layla's background. Rania, never one to miss an opportunity for legalistic maneuvering, then argued with chilling detachment that an orphaned child could readily develop an excessive attachment to any maternal figure, deeming such a bond inherently unhealthy and potentially detrimental. Khalid, though his internal anger coiled tightly, maintained a facade of detached consideration, assuring them he would weigh their professional guidance with the seriousness it supposedly deserved. Their words, intended as sophisticated counsel, served only to solidify his conviction of their malicious intent. He ended the meeting with an unnerving politeness that left them subtly unsettled, then discreetly initiated a parallel investigation. He contacted Layla's former employers, seeking an objective assessment of her character. The references he received were not merely positive, they were effusive, glowing testimonials praising her unwavering honesty, profound care, and tireless dedication, a stark, irrefutable contradiction to the insidious suggestions and thinly veiled accusations spewed by the 5 candidates. The testimonies painted a portrait of a woman of impeccable character, a stark contrast to the venomous caricature they had so meticulously crafted. The revelation was a chilling validation, stripping away the last vestiges of doubt, preparing him for the definitive confrontation he knew was fast approaching. The atrium, still humming from Khalid's quiet conviction, became a stage for a deeper confession that settled over the guests. He spoke of the desolate quiet after his wife's passing and the shadow it cast over Amir's childhood. Layla's arrival, he said, had been a gentle sunrise, her honest touch and steady affection coaxing laughter back into a grieving heart. Not grand gestures, but simple truths and innate kindness had mended a brokenness that wealth could not touch. Defying rigid expectations, Khalid declared Layla his wife, and, with a tenderness that stirred every soul, affirmed her as Amir's true mother. He voiced a hope for more children, a future shaped by love rather than inherited power. A swell of genuine admiration and applause embraced Layla and her new family. Amir, radiant and unburdened, looked at his father with bright eyes, promising bedtime stories and homework done. Khalid's sister, eyes wet with shame and relief, stepped forward to embrace Layla, apologizing and welcoming her. Relatives moved by the raw honesty followed, offering warmth. The city, witnessing the transformation, began to rethink nobility, seeing true power in integrity and heart. Carlos, camera flashing, captured every nuance, knowing the story would ripple beyond the marble palace. The atrium, once heavy with expectation, now vibrated with the promise of a future led by authentic love. Seeds of a new social understanding were sown. Kindness and empathy outshone status. The day a sheikh chose character over custom, etched into collective memory. In the days that followed, a media storm erupted. Carlos's peace spread, joined by news channels and social platforms. The reputations of the disgraced candidates crumbled under irrefutable evidence. Public judgment was swift, leaving their lives in ruins. Layla, by contrast, rose as a symbol of quiet dignity, her unassuming grace and resilient spirit winning widespread admiration. Months later, as the desert sun dipped in rose and gold, Layla and Khalid exchanged vows in a simple garden ceremony, surrounded by family and true friends. Amir, beaming in a miniature thobe, served as their page. The judge, voice thick with feeling, declared them husband, wife, and son. 6 months on, Layla's pregnancy culminated in the first fragile cry of baby Helena, a tiny addition who completed their home. 2 years unfolded gently, each day a testament to their warm, enduring union. In the sunlit comfort of their house, Layla watched Amir, now a thoughtful older brother, guide Helena's tiny hands in folding paper falcons, a tender echo of lessons in kindness. Turning to Khalid, eyes bright with love that had defied odds, she whispered, she regretted nothing. Every hardship had been a necessary step toward this boundless love, proving a pure heart, unburdened by prejudice, would always triumph. The warmth of their home, 2 years ripened, pulsed with the gentle rhythm of a love hard-won and deeply cherished. Layla watched Amir and Helena, their movements a bright, unburdened dance across the sun-drenched marble, knowing each hardship had been but a step toward this boundless joy. Her gaze, luminous with a truth forged in fire, met Khalid's, and in that silent exchange, a world of understanding bloomed. He saw in her the anchor that had steadied his tumultuous life, the quiet strength that had transformed a grand palace into a living sanctuary. The memories of calculating smiles and empty promises, once sharp and insistent, now receded into faint, irrelevant echoes, eclipsed entirely by the vibrant, undeniable reality of their present happiness. Each morning unfolded, not as a challenge, but as a reaffirmation of the profound connection that wove through their days, from Amir's intricate origami creations adorning polished surfaces to Helena's infectious giggles echoing through the sunlit chambers. Layla's touch, once that of a humble assistant, now imbued every corner of their opulent residence with an understated elegance, turning vast spaces into intimate havens of peace and genuine affection. The city, having witnessed their journey through Carlos's reverent chronicles, had begun to shift its perception, replacing initial judgment with a quiet, profound admiration. Their unconventional union, once a source of societal whispers, now stood as a testament to the power of a heart unbowed by prejudice. a living example that true brilliance emanated from within. The children, growing in this atmosphere of unconditional love, embodied the purest form of their parents' triumph, their innocent spirits untouched by the shadows of past struggles. Layla often paused, a soft smile gracing her lips, as Amir patiently guided Helena's tiny hands in folding paper into delicate birds, a tender, unspoken ode to the enduring power of connection. This family, a fusion of strength and tenderness, continued to redefine the very essence of legacy, proving that courage and a pure heart could indeed reshape an entire world. The future stretched before them, a canvas awaiting new strokes of joy, growth, and the quiet, magnificent expansion of a truth that promised endless, beautiful melodies yet to be shared, their harmony a beacon guiding other hearts towards the same profound realization. Their love, a triumphant symphony against the din of a demanding society, continued to resonate, an eternal flame in the heart of their home. Each shared glance, each gentle touch, each burst of laughter from their children affirmed the precious gift they had found, a life rebuilt on foundations of unwavering truth and an affection that defied all boundaries. The whispers of the past, of doubt and scorn, had been silenced, replaced by the persistent, undeniable hum of their happiness. This was not merely an ending, but a new, expansive beginning, a continuous unfolding of love's deepest mystery, where every day was a testament to the extraordinary beauty found in the ordinary moments of a life genuinely lived. The lessons learned, the battles won, had all converged into this singular radiant present, solidifying their place not just as a family, but as a living narrative of the heart's ultimate victory. The enduring narrative of their triumph, a testament to love forged in the crucible of expectation, transcended the marble palace gates and wove itself into the city's consciousness. It became a parable, whispered in reverence, inspiring a quiet revolution in hearts long bound to tradition. Khalid, freed from the demands of lineage, drew his greatest strength from Layla's steady presence, which grounded him amid the currents of progress. Their home, once a symbol of inherited power, transformed into a living academy of the heart. Every shared meal, bedtime story, and burst of laughter affirmed that true connection outshone any gilded facade. The scent of desert roses and Layla's cooking filled the rooms, a fragrant reminder that wealth lay in affection, not acquisition. Amir, approaching adolescence, carried a quiet confidence beyond his years, his spirit soaring like the paper falcons he still crafted. Helena, a graceful whirl of childhood exuberance chased them, her giggles echoing through sunlit halls, a constant melody of joy. Layla watched, her heart full. Each moment affirmed the journey they had taken. Their story, embraced by Carlos's insightful articles, became a catalyst, prompting families to re-evaluate values and question the superficiality that had overshadowed human connection. The rigid caste system, once impregnable, now showed cracks, fissures widening under the gentle pressure of a love that dared to defy. Their shared glances, laden with silent understanding, spoke of battles fought and victories won, of a future opening with promise. They had built not only a family, but the cornerstone of a new legacy, defined not by birthright but by choosing compassion, integrity, and devotion. Whispers of doubt that once shadowed them were replaced by a chorus of respect, testament to the transformative power of a pure heart. Each evening, as the sun dipped in rose and gold, it reminded them that the brightest light comes from within. The city, once a stage for social drama, now looked to their home as a beacon of change. Their children, raised in unconditional love, embodied this triumph, innocent, unshadowed, their laughter promising a future where empathy reigned. Yet even as their influence spread, a new challenge stirred in the deeper enclaves of power, where tradition clung with suffocating grip. Not all hearts were swayed. Some saw threat, a precedent that could unravel generations of influence. Their success attracted those who would rather see it fail, fearing the dismantling of the old guard. A subtle shift in the city's air suggested an undercurrent of unease, a new resistance born not of open malice, but of quiet, strategic opposition. This faint tremor beneath their serene happiness showed that while many battles were won, the war for society's heart was far from over. The harmony they had cultivated now faced a different test, challenging their impact on a larger systemic scale, and compelling them to protect their truth in a world wrestling with its rigid past. The unfolding chapter promised not personal drama, but an expansive ideological clash, urging their beacon of love to shine brighter against the clouds of old-world resistance. The quiet revolution rippling through the city unsettled the gilded foundations of entrenched power. While many admired the Sheikh's transformed family, resentment festered among those whose influence waned. The shift toward genuine affection over inherited status felt like an affront to the traditional elite. Acceptance of Layla and Khalid's union was seen not as progress, but as a dangerous precedent, a threat to generations of carefully constructed hierarchy. The harmony inside the palace, a testament to love's triumph, inadvertently stoked a quiet, strategic opposition, foreshadowing a deeper clash. Though many battles had been won, the fight for society's heart was far from over, and their love was forced to shine against gathering clouds of old-world resistance. As twilight deepened and purple shadows spread across the city, 5 figures met in the hushed opulence of the private infinity pool. Their composed masks showed apprehension and stubborn resolve. Rania, taut, confirmed what they suspected. Khalid knew of their past schemes. A cold glint entered Zara's eyes. Unyielding, she declared their options far from exhausted and hinted they still had cards to play. Her low, conspiratorial voice outlined a venomous proposal: systematically dismantle Khalid's reputation. They would spread rumors, paint him as mad, consumed by obsession with Layla, a narrative meant to annihilate his standing among the city's influential. They exchanged knowing glances, convinced their campaign of whispers and falsehoods would succeed, believing themselves masters of perception. Unseen, a silent observer absorbed every word. From a hidden vantage, Sheikh Khalid listened as the plot unfolded through his secretly placed cameras. His expression, usually calm, tightened with quiet fury. The cruelty and audacity of their machinations hardened his resolve. He had weathered subtle attacks and veiled insults, but this direct assault on his character and Layla's dignity demanded a decisive response. Over 2 days, Khalid laid the groundwork for a counterattack, a strategy of precision and an unwavering commitment to truth. He re-engaged personally with all of Layla's original references, probing deeper. Testimonials flowed in, overwhelmingly positive, painting her as honest, profoundly caring, and transformative for the children she taught. Each account confirmed his certainty. Layla was, in every meaningful sense, pure gold. With evidence gathered, Khalid summoned Layla to his private study. The air crackled with unspoken tension as he revealed the extent of their enemy's treachery and the venomous plot he had overheard. Layla listened, heart aching with sorrow and defiance. Khalid then unveiled his counter-strategy, not merely defense, but vindication. He told her he had re-verified her references and that her character shone brighter than ever. With tenderness that belied the moment, he proposed a public unmasking of the 5 women at the Grand Royal Gala dinner, where the city's elite would gather. He instructed Layla, with a heavy heart, to feign belief in their lies a little longer, to endure further humiliation in public, promising that this temporary anguish would culminate in an undeniable triumph, complete vindication. The weight of the plan settled between them, a silent pact of trust and determination, setting the stage for a dramatic reckoning. A collective gasp, sharp and visceral, ripped through the stunned assembly, the moral earthquake's aftershocks shattering the last vestiges of decorum in the opulent hall. The glittering tableau of society's elite, moments before poised, devolved into a chaotic mosaic of recoiling figures and aghast faces. Mariam's hand, still at her throat, trembled. Her eyes, once contemptuous, held bewildered terror that mirrored the public's dawning judgment. Rania's legal precision, her polished arguments, dissolved into raw panic, etched across her stiff features. Noura, arbiter of refined upbringing, stood rigid, her detachment annihilated by the force of exposed truth. Reem, her couture abaya suddenly a shroud of shame, began to shake, her cultivated elegance fraying like old silk. But it was Zara who took the deepest blow. Her composed visage collapsed into pure horror. Color drained from her face beneath the chandelier's glare, as if the light stripped away her facade. Her lips formed silent, desperate pleas that were lost amid the rising whispers and condemnations. Guests, their shock curdling into disgust, turned away. backs forming a wall of judgment, hushed conversations edged with moral outrage. The heavy scent of oud and jasmine, once luxurious, now seemed cloying, tainted by the stench of deceit. The opulent atrium, meant for triumphs, had become a prison of their own making, gilded bars trapping them in their undoing. Khalid, unmoved, stood a silent, imposing figure atop the grand staircase, gaze unwavering as chaos unfolded. His resolve, honed by years of witnessing calculated cruelty, was absolute, not vengeance, but justice, meticulously served. He gestured. The screen shifted, revealing more evidence, whispered instructions, illicit payments, forged documents. Each clip chipped away at their reputations, exposing not just malice, but a network of deception designed to obliterate Layla's presence and desecrate his family's heart. The scale of their treachery, laid bare, turned revulsion into irreversible condemnation. Whispers hardened into murmurs of scorn, punctuated by gasps, as the full extent of their evil became undeniable. Then Amir, small and vulnerable, appeared at the atrium's edge, eyes wide, drawn by the clamor. He had heard snippets and seen flashes, but the full weight of the revelation struck him as he stepped into the drama. His father's stern voice, laced with a rare quiet fury, detailed the women's plots. Amir's bright, innocent face, so recently full of laughter since Layla's arrival, crumpled. He watched the 5 women, once figures of authority, stand isolated and trembling under public shame, their proud demeanors reduced to wreckage. The smiles he had endured, the patronizing tones he'd brushed aside, replayed in his mind, now bitter in meaning. His child's heart, mended by Layla's love, felt a fresh ache. He saw turning backs, pointed fingers, the disgust of adults he respected. This was not the joyous celebration he had imagined for his father and Layla, but ugliness, a raw wound in the heart of their home. A thick, hot tear traced his cheek, not for the women, but for the shattered illusion of his world. He had fought for Layla, declared his love, believing in simple truths of good and bad. This public unmasking of profound malevolence introduced a complexity he was unequipped to bear. His small body trembled, mirroring those he had condemned. The pure joy that had defined his last 2 years felt fragile, tainted by adult cruelty. He sought Layla's face through blurring tears, her presence a desperate anchor. The weight of deceit settled on his young shoulders, pushing him into a silent, profound despair that belied his years, hinting that even the brightest light could cast the longest shadows, and that love's triumph would be forever scarred by the battles it must wage. The resonance of that truth reached beyond the sun-drenched rooms where Amir and Helena now wove their innocent games, vibrating through the marble palace and turning its grandeur from inherited power into a living testament to a love earned, a sanctuary where authenticity was the most cherished currency. Layla, watching her children, felt this settle deep within her, a calm certainty that infused every breath, every gentle touch, every shared glance with Khalid. Amir, blossoming into a thoughtful boy, often brought his latest origami to his mother, each delicate fold a silent ode to the patience she had taught him, a mirror of the intricate beauty he now saw in a world once shadowed. Helena, a whirlwind of dimpled smiles and giggles, chased these paper birds through the gardens, her small hands reaching for the symbols of a happiness Layla helped build. Khalid, observing his family, recognized the quiet revolution Layla had brought. His gaze, once burdened by legacy and society's demands, now held a serene light, gratitude softening the stern lines of his face. He sought Layla's hand not for display, but as a private reaffirmation of the bond they had forged, deepening with each season. Whispered conversations beneath starry skies and shared mornings on the terrace became threads of a tapestry richer than any gold the palace held. The memory of the candidates, with their calculating smiles and hollow ambitions, faded into irrelevant echoes. Their public downfall had purified the social air, clearing a path for an honesty that now permeated their lives and, subtly, the city. The city, long an observer, had not forgotten their story. Carlos's reverent chronicles recirculated, turning Layla from scandal into a symbol of quiet dignity, inspiring a gradual reevaluation of values. Once rigid expectations of lineage and status yielded under the gentle pressure of a love that dared to defy them. Layla's humble elegance, once dismissed as lesser standing, shone as an intrinsic quality. Her quiet strength commanded respect that transcended hierarchy. Their family, fused of steady strength and tender affection, embodied a simple truth. A pure heart illuminates what titles only shadow. Rooted in their home, that truth sent out gentle tendrils, fostering deeper connections and unforeseen blessings among those who witnessed their journey. Each sunset, painting the skyline rose and gold, reminded them that true brilliance came from within. Wealth that had once invited judgment now served a nobler purpose: to nurture a family on foundations stronger than possessions. Their quiet rebellion against prejudice had woven itself into an undeniable reality of mutual understanding, support, and the joy of being together. The children, unaware of the shadows that had once threatened their parents' path, grew where kindness was the most precious currency and empathy the greatest jewel. Layla often paused, smiling as Amir guided Helena's tiny hands to fold paper into boats, a tender ode to connection. The city, once a stage for ambition and drama, now looked to their home as a beacon of enlightened understanding, acknowledging that stories born of courage and pure hearts could redefine everything. Their love, a triumphant symphony against lingering dissonance, continued to burn as an eternal flame in their home, a beginning that unfolded daily, where ordinary moments revealed extraordinary beauty. The battles won and lessons learned had converged into this radiant present, sealing their place not merely as a family, but as a living narrative of the heart's victory, a story promising melodies yet to be shared and guiding other hearts toward truth and genuine affection. As the royal gala dinner loomed, only 3 days remained, which Prince Khalid spent ensuring every detail of his plan was flawless. He secured Carlos, the renowned journalist, and sent a discreet missive to his sister, hinting at a forthcoming revelation. Unaware of the orchestrations around them, the 5 prospective brides immersed themselves in their final preparations, faces radiating an impenetrable self-assurance. Each woman was certain she alone would be declared Khalid's future wife, and that Layla would be publicly humiliated. Their confidence, a shimmering veneer, masked the web of deception about to ensnare them. Khalid had one last private engagement before the spectacle. He summoned Layla for a dress rehearsal, unveiling the dramatic role she must play. He would, before society, feign choosing Zara. Layla's task was to portray utter devastation. Her feigned heartbreak was crucial to the charade. A tremor of apprehension ran through her, fear she might falter under scrutiny. Yet her faith in Khalid remained, bolstered by the evidence he had shown, and his vow that their son, Amir, would ultimately be safe and happy with Layla by his side. That evening, Khalid walked the palace corridors to find a despondent Amir. He embraced his son and quietly revealed the comforting truth. Layla was not leaving. The confession dispelled some of Amir's sorrow, coaxing a fragile, hopeful smile. On the morning of the gala, the marble palace glowed expectantly. The atrium thrummed with society's figures, family, friends, and journalists with pens poised and cameras ready. The 5 candidates, ethereal in haute couture abayas, moved through the crowd with regal certainty, their eyes alight with ambition, oblivious to the deception awaiting them. From his vantage, Khalid watched, a tempest of anticipation and unease churning within him. Carlos adjusted his lens, ready to capture each moment. Yet away from the glitter, Amir remained sequestered in his chambers. Layla knelt beside him, her voice a soft, unwavering reassurance, reminding him of his father's promise that, despite appearances and pain, all would be well. The stage was set, the players in place, and the city's eyes awaited the performance that would reshape their world. A wave of thunderous applause, mingled with joyous shouts, surged through the atrium, obliterating the last traces of the candidate's venom and replacing the cold air of judgment with a warmth Layla felt deep in her soul. Khalid's embrace, public and unrestrained, was a silent promise of protection, a physical manifestation of the love he had declared. His lips on hers sealed not just a proposal, but a profound commitment, an intimate gesture that transcended the grandeur around them. Nestled between them, Amir trembled not with fear, but with unadulterated happiness that vibrated through Layla, a resonant confirmation of her place in their newly forged family. His fervent shout, "Now you are my mother," echoed beyond the marble halls, a child's pure validation more potent than any decree, conferring an emotional depth no title could match. The diamond on her finger, sparkling beneath the chandeliers, felt less like a jewel and more like a captured star, a tangible symbol of a dream once impossible, now brilliantly real. The opulent hall, moments ago a battleground of deceit, became a stage for genuine connection, its gilded surfaces reflecting a newfound hope. Carlos, lens flashing, captured every detail, ensuring this truth would reverberate far beyond the palace walls. The 5 disgraced women, now ostracized and trembling, were reduced to footnotes in a far grander story, their meticulously crafted reputations dissolving into public scorn. Zara's pleas, Mariam's disbelief, Rania's rigid silence, Noura's shattered composure, and Reem's visible terror were grim counterpoints to the joy unfolding. Their ruin, swift and absolute, became a cautionary tale etched into the city's memory. Khalid, his face softened by love, addressed the assembly with quiet conviction. He spoke of his late wife's memory, the desolate silence that had followed her passing, and Amir's shadowed grief. He recounted how Layla, with gentle touch, unwavering honesty, and steady affection, had coaxed laughter back into their home, her simplicity mending what status and wealth could not. He reiterated his choice, declaring Layla his wife and, with almost sacred tenderness, Amir's true mother, expressing a hope for a future where more children might fill their home with the joy she had brought. Stripped of artifice, his words sketched a vision of legacy built not on inherited power, but on the purity of the heart. The ensuing applause, a crescendo of genuine admiration, swept the room, enveloping Layla and her new family in overwhelming acceptance. Amir, radiant and unburdened, promised his father homework and bedtime stories. His future was no longer solitary, but woven with unconditional love and shared laughter. Khalid's sister, eyes glistening with shame and relief, embraced Layla, offering apology and welcome. Other relatives, moved by the raw honesty of the moment, followed suit. The city, witnessing this transformation, began to redefine nobility, acknowledging that true power resided not in titles or possessions, but in the unwavering strength of a pure heart. The atrium's air, once heavy with expectation, now vibrated with the promise of a future where love, in its purest form, would lead the way, brightly lit by truth. The promise of love's enduring light, newly radiant within the atrium, solidified into a profound acceptance that rippled through every guest. A renewed chorus of joyous applause swelled, now infused with a deeper understanding, as Amir, his small frame vibrating with a newfound unburdened happiness, exuberantly claimed Layla for his daily homework adventures. His voice, clear and bright, echoed the sentiment of a future now woven with shared laughter and simple, precious routines. Khalid's sister, her earlier skepticism dissolved by the undeniable truth, embraced Layla with genuine remorse for having believed the whispers of rumor, welcoming her into the family with heartfelt warmth. Other relatives, deeply moved by the authenticity of the moment, extended their own congratulations, acknowledging that the love unfolding before them was a powerful testament to connection, transcending societal divides. The transformation within the marble palace was not confined to its gilded walls. It resonated outward, beginning to subtly reshape the city's very definition of nobility, affirming that true power emanated from the unwavering strength of a pure heart, not from inherited titles or vast possessions. The next morning, Carlos's meticulously crafted article, accompanied by the vivid footage from the gala, exploded across digital platforms and traditional media alike. The story captivated the public, exposing the intricate web of deceit woven by the socialites and igniting a firestorm of condemnation. Their carefully constructed reputations, once impregnable, crumbled into dust, leading to a swift and undeniable social and professional downfall. The city watched as their influence evaporated, a stark reminder of the consequences of malice. Layla, in contrast, emerged from the maelstrom not as a figure of scandal but as a symbol of quiet dignity, her story garnering widespread support and admiration for her resilience and unwavering spirit. Her name became synonymous with grace under pressure, her quiet strength inspiring countless hearts. Months later, beneath a canopy of blossoming jasmine in the tranquil palace garden, Layla and Khalid exchanged vows in a ceremony marked by profound simplicity and emotion. Amir, beaming with pride in a miniature thobe, served as their page, his presence a living testament to the love that had brought them together. The judge, his voice thick with emotion, declared them not just husband and wife, but husband, wife, and son, sealing their family with words that echoed the unique bond they shared. 6 months following their wedding, the joyful news of Layla's pregnancy filled their home with anticipation. Baby Helena, a tiny bundle of pure love and boundless promise, arrived, completing their family in a way they had only dreamed. 2 years unfolded, each day weaving new threads into the rich tapestry of their lives within their opulent yet profoundly warm home. Layla, observing Amir and Helena playing together, their innocent laughter a symphony against the backdrop of their contented lives, turned to Khalid, her eyes bright with a love that spoke of deep gratitude and profound peace. She affirmed that she regretted nothing of her past hardships, for every challenge, every sorrow, had been a necessary step on the path that had ultimately led her to this loving family. Their journey, a testament to enduring love, proved irrevocably that a pure heart, authentic connection, and unwavering truth would always conquer all forms of prejudice, shining brightly even against the deepest shadows of society's ingrained biases. The echoes of their triumph, subtle yet powerful, continued to resonate, a beacon guiding others toward the same profound realization.